Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to my new video. Welcome to my special Olympics edition. I hope you enjoy my new channel. I have opened up a new channel, as you can see from my news. Hope you guys have all subscribed. If you haven't subscribed, please do so, because I'm going to be putting all my new videos on this channel. The reason I'm doing it is because my old channel has been shadow banned and I'm not getting any more subscribers in my old channel. In fact, subscribers are going down, and also last few months I've just not been gaining any subscribers, so it looks like I'm getting some sort of shadow ban or something. So I'm going to be opening a brand new channel and see how it goes. So I'm hoping for you guys to carry on subscribing. I've got over 11,000 in my old channel. If majority of you can get to this channel, I'd appreciate it. Like I said, all my new videos will be on this channel. I'm not closing my old channel, by the way. I'm still going to use it time to time to voice my extra strong opinions, but yeah, help me out here. I need your help, guys. Anyway, this is going to be about the Olympics. A lot of Westerners don't realize this, or that Beijing is the first country to host the Summer Olympics and the Winter Olympics. And also, not a lot of Westerners are writing about this, that this is actually one of the most cost-effective, most cleanest, most safest games ever made. It's cost-effective because it's only costing 3 billion. And when you look at Japan hosting the Summer Olympics, they cost between 20 to 30 billion. And Beijing, when he did the Summer Olympics, they cost between 20 to 30 billion. But the reason it's so cheap this time is they're reusing a lot of the old sites. So that's making them save a lot of money. And also, it's one of the safest because of the coronavirus. The Chinese are making extra precautions to protect the athletes and protect the staff. And so they're making the games extra safe. And other things a lot of people don't realize is that these are the most cleanest games ever in terms of renewable power. It's all using, carbon neutral stuff, renewable power. It's hardly using any fossil fuels. And these are the most cleanest games ever. And a lot of people don't really pick up on that. And another thing that a lot of people don't pick up on is the digital one is being used on these games. All of the athletes, all of the staff are using the digital one to pay for things. And, there's a lot of new technology being used in these games that a lot of people don't realize. And, I've just seen the opening ceremony is absolutely spectacular, guys. Absolutely spectacular. And I'm surprised a lot of Westerners are not really picking up on it much. They like to talk about the negatives, and just not fair. I just find it hilarious. And I found a few articles I was going over, and you can see from the articles around the world, everything is dull, miserable, bad news. Some people are calling it the genocide games. Some people are making up stories, and you can see some protests happening around London as well by idiots. But generally, they're just haters, guys. Just absolute haters. They can't see anything great about China. They can't be happy for China for even a small thing. It's just sad. It's absolutely sad, time we are living in, that people can't see the goodness for 1 second about China. Can't even pick up one good thing about China. They have to pick up something bad or negative. It's just really sad, and it's really miserable. So let's go through some of these articles, shall we? So the Sun has picked up this article. It's quite shocking, to be honest. Hidden horrors: how China is using Winter Olympics to whitewash regimes, execution vans, concentration camps, black jails and torture. Written by Katie Davies. Seriously, these women, don't they have better things to write around this world? So India has also boycotted the Winter Olympic Games. Not like anybody cares. I mean, India doesn't even win any medals in the Winter Olympic Games. I don't remember India winning anything really. And you can see in the Olympic Games that India hardly wins any medals in the Olympic Games, and the summer ones either. I think last Winter Olympics they only won one gold medal. One gold medal out of a population of 1.4 billion. I mean, that is not something to be shouting about from the rooftops, is it? I mean, I don't think anybody cares if India boycotts the games or not. And everybody knows India's a poodle for America. So whatever America does now, India's pretty much going to follow and say, yes, sir, whatever you say, sir. Yes, Saab. Yes, Saab. Whatever you say, Saab. You are the master, Saab. We will do whatever you want to make you happy. And India is following this path, and them doing this just shows how much of poodles they are to the Americans, or how much poodles they are to the West. The West that actually, invaded their whole country, took trillions and trillions of treasures, trillion pounds of treasures, killed people, they had real genocide by the West, killed so many Indian people, stole their land, stole their food, some millions and millions of Indians died in famine. Don't get me started. Don't get me started on this. Just fools, absolute fools they are. So you got this ridiculous story about Putin and, basically his sleeping during the opening ceremony. I mean, give the guy a break. It's 14 hours from Moscow to Beijing. 14 hours. Not 1 hour, not 2 hours. It's 14 hours. So he's going to have some jet lag. And not only that, he had to meet President Xi for a meeting. He's got ongoing issues about Ukraine. He's got issues happening with the West, with Europe, with America. So Putin has got a lot of problems, that he's dealing with. He's got a lot of issues. So he's allowed to close his eyes for 5 minutes and have a bit of a rest. Why not? Why not? Why have a go at him? If he's going to sleep, it's not because the ceremony is boring or anything like that. He's going to sleep because this guy has travelled halfway around the world on a 14-hour flight. He's running around non-stop. He's got a lot of pressure on his head. So he's allowed to, close his eyes for 5 minutes. Let him. He needs some rest. Just, stop having a go at him. I mean, the West is just gone nuts. Absolutely nuts. Next one is from Berlin 1936 to Beijing 2022, passing the baton for the genocide games. So this is written by Mia Hassenson Gross, and she's from the Jewish News in Israel, the Times of Israel. And my question is, you can bloody talk. Look what you're doing to the Palestinians. Seriously, the Jewish need to shut the hell up. Unless they stop their real genocide of the Palestinians, they need to shut the hell up. And stop talking about fake news about China's genocide. There's real genocide going on in Palestine. In Palestine. So any Jew that's talking about this just needs to shut the hell up. Seriously, stuff like this makes me really angry. Then you got this one. China's pandemic Olympic begins with lockdowns and boycotts. So, can you see the problem with this opening title? Can't they just say, China's Olympics started, spectacular opening ceremony. We're really happy for China, great, we're looking forward to some great games. So immediately the title is China's pandemic Olympic begins. They're calling it the pandemic Olympics. And they said with lockdowns and boycotts. Seriously, this is the most negative, most saddest, opening I've ever seen. And then you got this one. Uyghurs surprised that Winter Olympics opening ceremony doesn't alter sports washing claims. So this is because there was a Uyghur who lit the Olympic flame, and a lot of people were surprised about it apparently. But all these Uyghur separatists are still crying out all over UK and London. Nobody's listening to them. Beijing Winter Olympics underway with subdued opening ceremony. So this is the Financial Times we're talking about. This is a very top paper. And they're already making it Can you see how they've written it? Beijing Winter Olympics underway with subdued opening ceremony. It's not subdued. It's one of the most spectacular opening ceremonies I've ever seen. It is much better than the Tokyo Olympics. Much, much better. In fact, 3 or 4 times better. You know, this is one of the best opening ceremonies I have ever seen, I've ever witnessed. And they're calling it a subdued opening. It's not a subdued. It's opposite of subdued. Ridiculous. Beijing Olympic ceremony review. China sets off propaganda fireworks. NBC awkwardly balances sports and geopolitics. So can you see they can't. This is from Yahoo News, by the way. You can't be happy for China for one bit. It's just bad news and somber news and sad news. Seriously, they need to grow up. So this is from The Guardian, and you can see China opens Winter Olympics with peace doves and a mighty provocation. See what I mean? They try and say one thing and they slap you in the back of the head with another. So, and you can see from the second title here, this is from The Guardian, by the way, the Genocide Games begin with a ceremony proclaiming that they will be held on Xi Jinping terms. Can you see that? They're calling it the Genocide Games. This is The Guardian talking. So he's not being biased in any way. He's calling it the Genocide Games. I mean, who the hell? They're supposed to be an independent, unbiased paper. Why are they calling it Genocide Games? There's no proof. What an idiot. And then you got these protests happening. And you can see these protesters. A couple of them are covering their face because they don't want to be seen. Look at them. Cowards. Absolute cowards. And I could count maybe 10 standing there. And I can maybe count probably 100 here. Hardly that many, is there? Hardly that many. It's just, you you compare it to the Iraq war, there was over 2-3 million on the streets. 2-3 million compared to 100 here. It doesn't compare. So they're also talking about Winter Olympics TV reporter dragged away by Chinese security live on air. So, they don't want to be. I mean, I don't know what this guy's doing. It sounds like he's up to no good. He's got one of those faces, naughty faces, that you've done something wrong and you're asking for it. And look at his face. There's probably a good reason for it. I'll try and get to the full bottom of the story later. But this guy looks like he's up to no good. He's probably shouting or saying something live on air, which is not supposed to. I don't know. Anyway, but. See the point here, they're purposely trying to make the Chinese look bad. They make them look like they're authoritarian. You've got no bloody freedom whatsoever over there, and they just, that's the whole point. That's what they're trying to achieve. And then you got this one. For China's Uyghurs, the genocide doesn't stop for the Olympics. And I just found this quite funny. So let's watch this for a bit, shall we?
These 3 million of Uyghurs and Kazakhs and other Turkic people who are being held in these arbitrary concentration camps.
So this woman, she claims there's 3 million people held in concentration camps. And as you know, you've seen a lot of these Uyghur separatists trying to say there's 3 million. Some say there's 1 million. Some say there's 2 million. They can't even make up their own minds. Seriously, there's one person says 1 million, one person says 2 million, one person says 3 million. Seriously, it's not like a number between 1 and 2 where, you forget to count one person. We're talking about million or 2 million difference here. It's not a small case of, we can miss a few, doesn't matter, million here, doesn't really matter. Seriously, this woman is nuts. I mean, let's listen to her again.
Camps and
says re-education camps is meant to help the local population and combat militancy in the region. Haley Ott spoke to one Uyghur activist.
What is going on in Xinjiang? What are the Uyghur people suffering?
Right now, we know that there's around at least 3 million of Uyghurs and Kazakhs and other Turkic people who are being held in these arbitrary concentration camps. And, the conditions inside are absolutely horrifying.
How does she know they're horrifying? Has she even been there? Has she even been to a concentration camp? Do they even exist?
Are subjected to sexual abuse, to rape, to mental and physical torture. They also undergo forced sterilization and abortions.
Listen to this line. I found this line very, very funny. So she's talking about how women are going through all of these stuff and forced sterilization and abortions. And she says the men go through the same thing as well. I mean, I've never heard of a man going through a forced sterilization and a forced abortion. I mean, if that is the case, then she's invented a new form of torture here.
And so the treatment is just incredibly inhumane. And this goes, the same for men as well.
So the women go through the forced sterilization, forced abortions, and she goes, oh, it's the same for the men as well. And a couple of men, they're listening to that thinking, oh.
What does it mean that there is an Olympic Games taking place in China soon?
The message that we hear that, is we know that you're suffering, a genocide, you're going through traumatic experiences, but let's just pause for, just 2-3 weeks just to focus on the Olympics, and then we'll get back to your genocide. And it's just something horrible to say to an entire, ethnic group, an entire people, that their genocide doesn't matter in the context of the games.
Do you feel forgotten?
I feel like this word genocide is being thrown around left, right, and centre like it's a cheap word. Like anyone can throw around the word genocide these days. I mean, there's no evidence of genocide, and AP News went to China and they've done their own investigation that they said there's no genocide. The UN has sent delegates there. The people who matter in this world, the organizations which matter, which are impartial, they've gone and they've done their research and they said there's no genocide going on. So where are these people getting all of this evidence from? And let me tell you something. All of these people escaping from these so-called concentration camps, coming to UK as asylum seekers, saying, oh, I've escaped from China's concentration camp where I got raped. Let me tell you something, right? If somebody escapes from Guantanamo Bay, comes to UK as, saying, oh, I've escaped from Guantanamo Bay, I've been raped every day, I got abused, there's human rights violations going on. Do you really think anyone can escape from Guantanamo Bay? Do you really think so? Not on your life, never. Same way, no one is gonna escape these concentration camps in China if they exist. No one. Right? Do you think China's going to let them go and say, oh, go to another country, go to UK and sell your story, tell them about the concentration camps? They're not going to allow that. I mean, seriously, this is ridiculous. And not only that, we are living in COVID times. So don't you think, China could easily not give any vaccinations to the Uyghur population, for example, and just let them die? And not give any vaccinations on all these concentration camps, and just not give any vaccinations to the Uyghurs in general, and just let them pass away. Don't you think they will do that? No, that did not happen. There's hardly any deaths with COVID with China. They care about their people so much that they lock down whole cities so this virus doesn't spread. And all of these papers, spreading these fake news about China doesn't care for its own people, is genociding its own people, is putting its own people in concentration camps. It just does not make sense. Why would China lock down whole cities just to look after its people and then genocide another, their own race the next day? It just doesn't make any sense, doesn't add up. So people just can't put this two together. It just makes me so angry how people are just so stupid around this world. So stupid. Seriously. Anyway, I'm going to finish off with this story again. And again, this kind of stuff makes me angry, guys. I mean, Jews around the world ramp up China protests as Beijing Olympics start. I mean, seriously, these guys are experts at genocide. They've been genociding the Palestinians, since they've taken over their land. There's less and less Palestinian people living in Palestine. They're taking over their land. They're killing more and more of these Palestinians. That's real genocide. And they're stopping these Palestinians from living their normal lives. And people have called it an apartheid state. There's real charities calling it apartheid right now. Oh man, this kind of stuff just makes me so angry. It's just how twisted we live in. It's just a twisted world we live in. Anyway, that's all for now. Thanks for listening, and don't forget to subscribe to my new channel, guys, and I'll see you soon. See you in the next video.